Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show we're checking out the XTS P12 from Rlarlo, a 1/12 rally. Names. Why do they get engineers to name products? It's unbelievable. Anyway, in this episode we're going to unbox it, take a look at it, we're going to look at all the features and functions, and then we're going to take it out for a bit of a blast. What's that you say? This has been out a few days and there's loads of videos? Well, yeah. I'm a little bit late, but in this video we're going to do something a little bit different, so you better stay tuned. Right, so let's take a look. It comes in two different colours. You've got the blue and the red. I think it actually says on it here. Yes, you've got the XTS P12W and R. This one is the red one. As far as I know, I don't think there's any real difference apart from the body set. Now, it all looks very obvious what kind of car it is, but this is not licensed, which is a real shame, but we'll come on to that in a little bit of time. Now, the thing that jumped out to me straight away when I first saw it is its 3S. Yes, this has a 3S ESC in it, saying that we can do 50 to 80 kilometers an hour in a 1/12. So that's going to be pretty bonkers. Oh, there's a bump! Because this is brushless, obviously, pretty much. So let's take a look at what you get. So you get your usual decals, then you get a USB charger, kind of gets you going, but yeah. Also, it comes something a little bit different. It actually comes with a rechargeable battery for the transmitter, not your standard AAs that we've seen recently. And it comes with a sort of manual-ish. Right, let's take a look. So the transmitter. Something a little bit different if I could get into it. So the transmitter is a 6-channel, so you've got loads of extra channels if you want to add more lights and stuff like that. The interesting one for me is it takes this battery, so it's rechargeable. So I suppose that makes life a little bit easier, but obviously if that battery goes out, then you will have to source another one. You charge, it comes with a USB cable, so you can just charge it straight from the side. You don't have to take the battery out, just charges from there. Quality wise, well, it's still pretty basic, sort of one notching up, being that it's a rechargeable battery. I do like the thumb attachment, especially as obviously when I'm filming, when I'm driving, so that's nice to see. And I don't think I've ever had one come with that on there. Right, let's just get to the car. Now, one thing Rlarlo have been absolutely on recently is the quality of the chassis. So this one has like a detachable body from turning these two things here. Honestly, these, good idea. In practice, not so great, because they can't stick up above that. Getting your fingers in and grabbing hold of it is actually quite difficult. A little bit fiddly, probably difficult when they're covered in mud and they get wet, and then you might struggle to get the body off, but I do like it. Takes away obviously the body posts. The posts are actually inverted ones as well. Comes with lights on the front, lights on the rear, and then the little module in the middle, so you have to actually disconnect it if you want to remove the body totally. After driving around in the mud and the rain, I can say yes, these are more fiddly with all the kind of ook that gets in there. Another thing I found with the body mounting system, I do like the idea as it gets rid of the post, which we don't want to see. But being that it's attached in the middle, there's two posts at each end that just guide it in. They're like guide posts. You do get this issue. It is not attached at the rear, so you get quite a bit of gappage. So you get a lot of junk and stuff going in. Doesn't seem to happen quite as much at the front. I think it's because the bumper underneath rubs against it, but the back seemed to be quite loose. One thing Rlarlo do well, the light buckets. They're all really detailed, much nicer than just having a sticker. They did a brilliant job on the 1/10, and they've carried that over onto the smaller 1/12, which I really like. Just adds a little bit more detail to the body. Just a shame about the windows. Dimensions of the body are good. It actually looks correct. Doesn't look awkward in any way. Has the air scoop at the top and a nice spoiler at the rear. But overall, the actual dimensions are really good. What lets this down for me personally, the windows. Clear windows definitely would be a way to go. And obviously a licensed body is probably their biggest weakness at the moment. But good news, Rlarrlo are now starting to do licensed bodies. They've just announced a 1/7 rally car, and that's going to have licensed body. So hopefully moving forward, Rlarrlo are going to be doing more and more licensed bodies, as I think they really need to, because their chassis are really coming on. The actual quality of these is really, really good. Mine did come with the ESC a bit loose. Definitely need to fix that. Again, it's something we normally see from a lot of Chinese companies, but that's something that could do with being fixed. Obviously, you can reattach it yourself, but of course, when you get your brand new car that you spent good money on, it just cheapens the experience a little bit if the ESC is just dangling inside the car. But overall, the plastics are gorgeous. Now, this car is based on their buggy, which is the X12S buggy, and then they've just made it into a road car. Oil shocks all round, metal driveline all the way through the car. So yeah, this thing is going to absolutely fly, especially if you're going to be running it on 3S. Now, it comes with a battery included. So it's the 2200 milliamp 3S battery, quite dinky. Not sure how much runtime you're going to get out of it, but we'll find out later on. My main concern with getting this is rally cars need to be driven on rough terrain. And the smaller scale you go, the less it deals with rocks and stones, and it tends to flick the car over. Now, being that they put 3S in this, I think this is going to be blinding fun on very soft, sort of fine dirt. But as soon as you put it on any rough stuff, it's just going to roll over constantly. But that's just my prediction. We'll just have to wait and see when we take it out and drive it. So that's why I was a little bit hesitant to get this, was because of the body and the scale. But when I had the XTS F10 on the show, that impressed me so much that I thought it was definitely worth giving this one a go. And the big reason was that you could do something like this. This is obviously my XTS F10, and I've just finished off camera the body for it. And as you can see, if you can get a licensed body, you can do so much more with it, and it just looks so much better. And this is twinning a really good looking body with an amazing chassis. So hopefully that's what we're going to see more of from Rlarrlo moving forward. But I absolutely adore this car. This was one I took and jumped really high in the air, and it's taken lots of abuse. But that's kind of why I thought, yes, get this on the show, and I can do maybe the same thing. So I went to fit the decals, and they're pretty awful, to be honest with you. So I decided to rummage through my decal parts bin, and then I just slapped on a few decals that I thought would kind of work. These Budweiser ones seem to be the right kind of colour for this sort of white black with a bit of yellow. So I put them on. Also, I did the windscreen. So the first thing I did was I just trimmed around the black edge so that I could keep that bit. And then I peeled off the actual windscreen. So now we need to go back and remove this section, which is under here. The good thing about doing it this way is once you start cutting through from the other side, you'll know where your line is so that you don't go over to show it here. Luckily, this is nice and easy. This is pretty easy. It's only here you have to be a bit careful because you don't want to go onto the actual pillar. Then all you need is some polycarbonate body cleaner to remove the actual paint from the inside. What I tend to use is a bit of a cloth first to do the main section, and then use a sort of cotton bud swab on the outside to be more precise. I would do the sides, but it would just take me too long. This took about half an hour. These would be a little bit more tricky, but you could do that if you wanted to. Definitely do that, as it adds another layer of detail and it just looks really good. Well, it improved it so much, I decided in the end to do the side windows on both sides. And as you can see, yeah, definitely a modification worth doing. I'm not sure why they don't do that from the factory, but they definitely should, and hopefully moving forward that's what we're going to see from them. Anyway, I think I've waffled on long enough about this one, so let's go take it out and see how it performs. So it's quite obvious, but the weather was really against me, as was the time. I really need to get this film finished, and we just had to go out. And being that it's the British Grand Prix this weekend, obviously this is the Sunday just before it starts, so we get rain after a week of 30 degrees, blistering sunshine, but it is what it is. And One thing that it really helped to show just how balanced this chassis is and how you can just drift it beautifully. So kind of a double-edged sword with the weather. Anyway, let's carry on. So I deliberately brought it to this patch of concrete, which is not far from where I live, as I do run a lot of cars here. And the reason is there's big joins on each slab of concrete. And I was very worried that this size of scale would really start to struggle with the joins and just keep bouncing the car all over the place and flipping it over. Well, I'm happy to report, and as you can see, it has no problems with this whatsoever, which was really good. And I was totally wrong, as I thought it would just be a pain and constantly roll over. There's no grip, even in the middle. Oh, there's a bump! Oh no, I forgot about the speed bump.
That's a big bump.
Did bits fall off? There goes that nice body. Pick it up, you have to bring it back on the concrete.
I think it's okay.
Is it alright?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. Yeah, you might want to be careful over that bump.
I didn't even see it. And here's my camera lady today. Look at the wall pouring out there. It's absolutely going for it. Oh. It drives so well. Do you want to go? I think we're going to have to call it there, I think.
Yeah.
So here we are enjoying the summer weather. Just popped out to get some footage for this car as I'm running a bit late, and then it absolutely poured it down. So sorry the running footage isn't that great, but it really helped me understand this car. So we'll go back to the studio and I'll talk about it a little bit more. So what's my final thoughts on the XTS P12 catchy rally car from Rlarlo? Well, I have to be honest and admit I was wrong. When I was offered this car, I almost turned it down because 1/12 and smaller, when it comes to rally cars, tend to not be that great because they just can't cope with, you know, rocks and gravel and stuff like that. Performed way better than I thought it was going to do on the kind of tarmacy, gravel, grass, dirt that I was going to run it on. Where I live, really bashes is what suits me. I'm full of fields, there's not much open smooth tarmac, so road cars are really difficult for me. So it's got to be a big rally car that can cope with a lot of gravel and dirt, or it's got to be more basher, bigger stuff. This I can actually go out and drive this on the surfaces that I've got. And I really didn't think that was going to be the case, which is why I wasn't that interested in it. I do personally like 1/12 from a model size. I like the scale, but when it has to actually perform, I was a bit worried that it wasn't going to do it. Very good, very balanced in the rain. The power, again, is another one. If you just take lots of power and you shove it in a car and you keep adding more power, eventually you reach the limit of what the chassis can cope with, and then it destroys itself. It's too fragile and it breaks all the time, or it just rolls over, flips over and goes crazy, and there's, you know, you can't actually drive it and it just becomes a pain. This chassis can handle that 3S power just the same as the 1/10. Really happy with it. So I think the designers have got the chassis right, the power level right. The body itself is fine. Just the livery they need to work on. But obviously we're going to get some licensed liveries from Rlarlo soon. So again, that's going to be a massive tick box. And Rlarlo, when it comes to their cars, the performances are getting better. The quality is great. And now we're going to get licensed bodies. It's raising the bar even more, and that is fantastic. Anyway, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.